Hey everyone, I'm Purge and welcome to another anime update. Now, before I get into what I've been watching, what I've completed, etc., I thought I would mention something else and give a little bit more info on my up next list. So, last time I talked about the changes to my up next list, but there's something I forgot to talk about. Now, I've kind of implied it, may have implied it before, or maybe even said it, I can't remember, that it might be okay. Let me just rephrase that. It might be assumed that the only anime I start watching goes on to the up next list first, and I choose from there. Now that's probably about 80% true, but what happens with anime that has multiple seasons or associated OVAs and movies? Well, I've decided that if I'm really into if I pick an anime off my up next list and I'm sort of really into it and I finish it and I'm really engrossed in it and it has multiple seasons, I will just go ahead and start watching the um, next season without and then bypass the up next list altogether, bypass this list altogether, so I can just end up watching it. Um, Also, there is another reason why I would just watch something. Sometimes, on occasion, I will um, somebody that I know will want to watch some anime with me. In fact, my cousin was talking about a while back, talking about watching Vinland Saga because neither of us have seen it and it's meant to be really really good. So I said, yeah, that's fine. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say to him, well, actually, I need to wait for the next cycle of 5 anime to go on my up next list, and then I need to kind of randomly choose it from there. That would just be weird. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. If he wants to watch something, then we'll just start watching it. So that's the other exception, excuse me. On the other hand, if the if an anime has multiple seasons and it's going to be a really long term investment to the point where I'll be watching one anime for quite a while, then I will actually put the next season on the up next list and wait for it to get chosen because I'd probably in that case want to break up a little bit. Now, for it's very convenient that I have two examples right here that illustrate both points. Now, Mob Psycho 100 has 3 seasons, but each of those seasons are like 12 episodes long. I think season 2 is actually 13 episodes, but then season 3 is actually 12 again. So it's like sort of 12, 13, 12. So it's not really much of a time investment. It's actually going to be pretty relatively quick to watch each season. So in this case, if I when I start watching Mob Psycho 100 and I like it, which I think I will do because it's really, really well liked, um, I'll probably just go ahead straight up and start watching the second season and bypass the up next list altogether because it's not much for time investment. However, on the other side of that coin is When They Cry. Now, When They Cry has, I think, 4 seasons, and each of those seasons are like 20. I think they're like anything from 24 to 26 episodes long. So double what Mob Psycho is, and obviously it's got another season. It's got one more season of Mob Psycho, so it's a much bigger time investment. So in the case of When They Cry, I probably would just say, look, I can probably wait to watch the next season of When They Cry. Even though I actually do really like it, it's really good. I can probably wait to watch it. In that case, I would just put it on the up next list for the next season and then just wait to watch it so it gets broken up with some other anime. It just means that I won't be watching one anime for a long time. So it's all about time investment. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. And that's how I hope it was clear. That's how anime with multiple seasons movies, OVA. Now, obviously, I only mentioned seasons, but of course, OVAs are really small time investments normally, um, and movies obviously very small time investments because it's like a hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you're done. So in that case, I would also, with OVAs and movies, I would also bypass the up next list and just watch it. Anyway, with all that said, that's the changes to changes. That's the more info on my up next list. Up next list, I should say. So anyway, let's get on with what I've finished this week. Last update, as always. Um, so yeah, what prompted me to talk about this is um this. So Seven Mortal Sins, that 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 are all part of the same franchise. So we've got 5 entries there now. The only entry that was on up next was Seven Mortal Sins, and I just went ahead and just watched um, these OVAs in that series as well. So the first thing I started and finished this last week um, was Seven Mortal Sins. Okay, it's okay. So Lucifer, this woman in the middle here, Lucifer gets kicked out of heaven as a fallen angel and goes down to the I think the ninth circle of hell, the Titus, and she she essentially wants to become a demon lord and rule over hell, and to do so, she has to defeat all 7 of the demon kings, who are themselves the personification of a deadly sin, and that's basically the story. It's I gotta be honest, it's fine. There isn't much of a story to it, and the characters um don't really get any development. There's no depth to them, but it is fun. It's got good animation. The voice acting is good too. It is fair warning. It is um pretty etchy, um maybe very etchy in fact, and there's like Yuri. There's Yuri in it as well. I thought it was pretty fun. Again, I, I wouldn't call it necessarily good, but I would say fine, which is why I give it a 6. It's fine. Then I watched the the specials, um, which are just a series of 12 like 1 minute long episodes that are just kind of different little silly um like scenarios where the characters are in. I gotta be honest, I was expecting for it to lean into Yachi because that's all it really has at this point when it comes to specials, because there's literally no story and there's no like sort of character development or anything. So I ended up giving it like a sort of mediocre 5, but it was literally no time investment. It was like each minute long. Then I watched the specials of the OVA, and weirdly enough, it's just 7 more episodes that are quite literally a continuation of specials. Again, they're like literally like a minute long. I give it a slightly higher score because these last 7 specials kind of lean in a bit more to the ecchi. And again, that may sound odd that I give it a higher score because it lends into the ecchi more, but really, if you've got an ecchi show, you kind of expect the OVAs of that show slash specials of that show to lean into the ecchi, and these specials did a little more. So again, I give it a slight higher score. Then I watched The Seven Heavenly Virtues. Now, this is a kind of side story to Seven Mortal Sins. There is one link to it. There's a character in the Seven Heavenly Virtues that is in Seven Mortal Sins. One character. They don't see all that too often, but that's literally the only link that this has to Seven Mortal Sins. But anyway, again, really small investment. It's 10 episodes, and each episode's like 4 minutes long, so it was really quick to get through. It took less than an hour. Um, in it, the story, these seven angels that personify the seven heavenly virtues come to Earth to try and find a messiah that will help them defeat demon lords. So each of them go and uh, go and try and find like a random guy and try and kind of train them and motivate them and see if they will become the next Messiah. Again, there's really nothing to the story. Um, that's why I give it like a 5. Again, it was pretty mediocre. There's no character development. There's virtually no story. All it's really got is a bit of ecchi. And if you don't like that sort of thing, I'd probably skip it entirely. Um, then I watched the Seven Heavenly Virtues specials, which are literally just 2 more episodes um, of the Seven Heavenly Virtues. Why they split them up, no idea. But it's just 2 more episodes. Again, mediocre. If you're not into ecchi, you could probably skip it altogether. Then I watched another recommendation. This was recommendation 17. Again, I randomly picked from the recommended to me list. Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. Now, Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash is an isekai where a group of people randomly wake up in this fantasy land where sort of magic exists and stuff, with no memory of their previous life, no memory of the world they came from. In fact, it's an isekai where the isekai part doesn't really matter because there's virtually no reference to their previous lives, virtually no reference to their previous world, nothing. They just kind of get plopped into a new world and then they just get on with it. It's very realistic and very grounded, which is something I really liked about this one because when they quickly find out in this world that they have to become these kind of trainee soldiers, and the only way they can get money to feed themselves, clothe themselves, and just live is they have to become trainee soldiers and then go out and kill monsters and loot them, bring back the loot for money. And one of the characters is like a warrior, one of the characters is a thief, one of the characters is like a maid. It's a proper like sort of RPG video game kind of thing. Like and I gotta be honest, it is really really good. In fact, the story is so character driven that it doesn't really the world that they're in almost becomes like secondary because the characters are really interesting and they have a lot of depth. There's really good kind of interpersonal relationships. There's some again really interesting character driven stuff. In fact, one of the characters that come into it later on gets some really good development that's really quite poignant and interesting. But yeah, and the animation and the art is really really good too. It kept on the sort of backgrounds, the landscapes in this one kind of reminded me of like a sort of watercolor painting. It just looked really nice. Yeah, I would absolutely recommend Grimgar Fantasy and Ash because it's actually a pretty unique isekai, in my opinion. Really, really good. I would recommend it. Then I watched, and I was going to say watched and finished them, but it's like literally one episode. It's like 10 minutes. It's like a 10-minute OVA. It's called OVA 2.5, and it's called the OPA 2. OPA? What the hell am I talking about? OVA 2.5 because it's simply an extended ending of episode 2. It inserts some comedy into it. It inserts a little bit of ecchi and fan service into it. Now, don't get me wrong, like Grimgar isn't an ecchi at all, and is like there's basically like no fan service. It's not an ecchi, but the OVA inserts a little bit of that, and it's actually pretty fun. I did actually like it. It involves um, some of the characters trying to peek on a couple of other characters that are actually taking a bath. So you can imagine um, what the content might be. But it's kind of fun. It's a tiny bit edgy, tiny bit fan servicey, but like it was, yeah, it's just a fun little watch. And again, it's only about 10 minutes long, so again, it's worth watching. So that was everything I completed um, this week, and then we'll go on to what I've been watching. Now, I said last week about Yu-Gi-Oh! I would try and endeavour to watch 2 episodes a day. I haven't actually done that, but I did. But I did watch another 7 episodes since last update, so that's better than none. So we're going in the right direction. I'm still in the kind of weird Enter the Shadow Realm arc, which apparently is all filler, but it seems to be coming to an end now. I'm not sure. But yeah, 116 episodes in, I watched 7 episodes, and they were fun. It's just that it's kind of weird that the arc I'm in now is all filler, but I'm going to endeavor to do more episodes um, this week, and then um, hopefully I can get through loads more of them because I got one. I've been watching this for a long, long time. And then I started When They Cry, and I'm 9 episodes into it now. Yep, When They Cry finally got picked from my up next list. It was on there for over a week, and it's based on a visual novel of the same name. Is the full title is Higurashi When They Cry, and it's essentially a murder mystery. Um, murder, yeah, a little bit. I say a little bit. It is a murder mystery. It revolves around these like school kids that live in this remote village, and I won't say anything more than that right now until I've actually finished it because the way the story is structured is pretty interesting, and I'll get into more of that when I've actually finished it. But yeah, I'm liking When They Cry so far. It's really quite good. And so, folks, that is that. No more, no up next editions this week because obviously I'm still getting through the ones I put on up next last week. So that's about it. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.